Alright, Gucci Maniacs, welcome back to the channel. This is a video I've been working on for over a year. Every time I've had somebody on here, I've had to take them off because they end up making it into the Hall of Fame. This is part one of baseball snubs from every baseball team. The first 10 teams are the 10 teams I dislike the most. And then the last video will be the 10 teams I like the most. So this is going to be a three-parter. I covered all 30 teams except for the Nationals. I covered the team that they were before they were the Nationals, which is the Expos, but that's in one of the later videos. Now, the criteria I laid down is, one, and a couple of things that you need to know is, one, I did not pick guys like Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Alex Rodriguez, and Rafael Palmeiro because of the steroid use. To me, I couldn't pick them, even though technically some of them have Hall of Fame record numbers. They still, because of the whole steroid thing, I purposely left them off. And so that's why they're not on here for the particular teams that they were eligible for. Number two, most of these guys have a higher WAR, which is wins above replacement, than Harold Baines, who the Veterans Committee put in a few years ago. And I think each one of these guys on my list were far more worthy of the Hall of Fame than Chipper and Andrew Jones. Andrew, who just got in this year, and Chipper, who got in a few years ago. And it's not because I hate the Braves, and the Braves are one of the first 10 teams. So this is my opinion, my personal opinion, why these individuals, I think, should be in the Hall of Fame way before Chipper and Andrew Jones. Some of them, like I said, have a higher WAR than Harold Baines. They should have been in before Harold Baines, Chipper, or Andrew. And no, I'm not hating on those three guys. I mean, I'm happy for those three guys for making it in. But these guys, I believe, are far more worthy. And so let's get started with the team I dislike the most, the New York Yankees. And I could have gone with a whole lot of guys from the Yankees who are not yet in the Hall of Fame. But my pick for the Hall of Fame snub for the New York Yankees is Don Mattingly. I don't think a whole lot of baseball fans will disagree with me. I honestly believe Don Mattingly should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. He should have gone in around the same time as Brett and Ryan. But that's my personal opinion. Number two, and I was surprised when I saw this individual was not in the Hall of Fame, from the Boston Red Sox, Dwight Evans. Again, another great player who should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago, but was snubbed. Now, for the Atlanta Braves, and this guy, I believe, should have been in before Chipper and Andrew. In fact, this guy was the Braves long before Chipper and Andrew was even playing, and that's Dale Murphy. Again, Dale Murphy, what can I say? All you have to do is look up his numbers and you'll see that he should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. For the Dodgers, for a long time for the Dodgers, I had Oral Hershiser, and then I realized there was a guy that they left off that they shouldn't have, that played long time ago, way before Oral Hershiser, long before I was born, and that's Murray Wills. And I'm surprised Mary Wills is not in the Hall of Fame. He should have been, again, a long time ago. For the Giants, I got a guy I don't really care for. I don't really like him. I personally didn't think he was that great of a player, but I think he was good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. But I personally didn't like him as a player. And that's Will Clark. Now, for the Milwaukee Brewers, is one of several surprises for me on this list of guys who are not in the Hall of Fame. I thought he was, but he should have been, and that's Cecil Cooper. Cecil Cooper was one of the premier players of his day. Why he's not in the Hall of Fame, I don't know. This guy made multiple All-Star teams. He was one of the greatest hitters of all times. He was a tremendous player. And I was really surprised when I found out that he was not in the Hall of Fame. Next on this list is a guy who I was talking to a guy at work the other day, and he and I were talking about him being a Hall of Famer, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer. I thought he was for the Oakland A's or Las Vegas A's or whatever they're called now. Vada Blue. Vada Blue. You got other pitchers in there that aren't half as good as Vada Blue, and yet Vada Blue is not in the Hall of Fame, and he should have been a long time ago. Now, for the Colorado Rockies, yes, they're somewhat of a newer team. They haven't been around very long. I got Matt Holliday. Out of all the guys on that list, one of the guys that were listed as a Rocky that is not in the Hall of Fame, I can see why there weren't, but Matt Holliday, I thought was the better choice. For the Seattle Mariners, Jamie Moyer. I know that's somewhat of a controversial pick. He is one of the top 5 Seattle Mariners not in the Hall of Fame, and he should have been a long time ago. Now, number 10, another guy I thought was in the Hall of Fame, and he's one of those guys who was part of a couple of World Series teams with the Detroit Tigers. Lou Whitaker. I honestly thought Lou Whitaker was already in the Hall of Fame, but he's not. He should have been, but he's not. And like I said, these are my first 10 for the 10 teams I disliked the most. Started with the team I disliked the most down to the 10th team I disliked the most. And yeah, I know the Yankees, Red Sox, Braves, and Dodgers have a lot of fans, and they're the 4 teams I dislike the most. But I'm being honest, each one of these guys, if not all of them, most of these guys have a higher WAR than Harold Baines, and I think they were far better players than Chipper and Andrew Jones. And again, like I said, I'm not hating on those guys. Those guys made it to the Hall of Fame. I'm happy for them. But these guys, I think, some of these guys should have been in there before them. And I think they're a lot better players. Now, part 2 will be my snubs for Baltimore Orioles, Miami Marlins, Tampa Bay Rays, Chicago White Sox, Toronto Blue Jays, Cleveland Indians, Chicago Cubs, Minnesota Twins, Pittsburgh Pirates, and St. Louis Cardinals will be in the next video. Until next time, be good to each other. And as always, I am the man of the hour, the man of power, too sweet to be sour. Every lady's pet, every man's regret. The sex appeal of Elvis, leadership qualities of Ronald Reagan, the Hall of Fame potential of George Brett, styling, profiling of the Nature Boy, woo, Ric Flair, the hardcore heart of Mick Foley, the toughness, always right like Rush Limbaugh, and the toughness of Chuck Norris, all rolled into one. TheGooch. And see you next time for another episode on this channel.